Coming up on this edition of Rev Culture, cross-border racers. I'm Todd Lewis. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Rev Culture. Coming up on the program, Bob Attrell has been racing in the Sports Car Championship Canada the last couple of years. He recently jumped into TC America and had a very memorable weekend at Indianapolis. First up on the show, 19-year-old racing sensation Kyle Steckly is making a name for himself in stock cars in both Canada and the United States.
Kyle Steckly had one foot on either side of the Canada-U.S. border this past season, racing full-time in both countries. Kyle, let's start with the U.S. first. You just finished up your first full season in the ASA Series. It was a new series. It was a new car. There were new tracks. There was a new team. That's a lot to absorb all at once. How did you approach the start of the year?
Yeah, I knew it was definitely going to be tough. Like you said, there's all those new things right there. So pretty crazy, really. And I knew it was going to be, it wasn't an easy series I was going into at all. So a lot to learn. And I took it as that, a great opportunity for me. And, just try to get better every single race, be the most prepared at every single race that I can be before. And I think I grew a lot as a racer for sure this year. I learned a lot. I definitely had to do new things, challenging things. I mean, I've worked with my dad my entire life in racing, and now we went to a completely new team, a car I didn't know, and every single track was new to me too. So it was a big learning year, and I think we struggled the first 5 races, the first half of the season. We were growing as a team. I mean, the team was learning the car. I was learning the car. We were learning the tracks. We were learning each other. And then, but I think we made the most of it every race, and we learned a little bit. And then that second half of the season, we came on really strong. We got a win for the Redbud 400, which was really huge. And then, we kept clicking off solid runs and showing a lot of speed. So it was just really cool, a really cool experience. I've been watching super late model racing since I was, 11 or 12 years old. Now I'm racing against those guys like Bubba Pollard and Stephen Nasse and Casey Roderick, Ty Majeski, who just won the Truck Series Championship. So, it's no easy field down there, and it was a cool new experience for me.
In addition to learning all this new stuff and trying to gel with your new team, as you mentioned, the competition's pretty stiff. So how do you get involved in the competition? In that, I mean, you're trying to learn the competitors. You also want to learn as much as you can and show them that you're worthy of being there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've watched all them guys for a long time, but they don't know anything about me. So I had to earn their respect and, get to know them on a personal level kind of. And, that's something Dad always, really installed in me, is to make sure, you gain your respect before you worry about, racing them super hard and trying to go for wins. Because once you have their respect, then it's just going to make everything a lot easier. So just, try and race them as clean as possible. Always do that. And then just, try and talk to them before and after the race, and, let them figure out who you are and how you race. And, at that level, if you're running up front, that everyone knows that you're pretty good, really. So, they have the respect for you if you can run up front and race them clean. And, I think most of them seen that. And by the end of the year, I got pretty close with a couple guys. And, I think I earned the respect that I wanted to. And then we were able to go and race them hard and have some fun.
You certainly proved yourself, and I imagine it was a great opportunity for you to improve your racecraft as well. Is there any area in particular you focused on?
Yeah, just, tire conservation is a big thing in super late models. The races are longer, so a lot of throttle control and just maximizing the car's performance on the tires you have. So, I mean, up here in the APC United Late Model Series, it's all 100 lap races. You know what you got, and you just go for 100 laps. In the Canada Series, it's a lot of times there's a break halfway through, and when you're doing that. So down there, the longer races, you never really know when you're going to get tires, and you got to make the most out of them, and make the most of them, but don't hurt them, because you could be on them for 150, 200 laps, or you might only be on them for 75 laps. So that was a big thing, just maximizing the car's performance, but not hurting the tires, and being able to manage the tires for a long time.
How did it feel as your performance improved? And as you mentioned, you picked up your first win and really had a lot of good, consistent finishes at the end of the season.
Yeah, it definitely took a little bit of time, took some learning, but I think we caught on quick. I had a lot of great help, and just a lot of guys behind me supporting me and offering me input. But we caught on pretty quick. I mean, it's a fun way of racing, really. It just adds more to it, and it's a whole new aspect. So that was cool to learn, and I think it made me better coming back here and racing in the APC series and in NASCAR Canada, because you just have that much more understanding of tires and conservation and what the car needs to last long.
You mentioned that you raced in APC and NASCAR Canada. Let's talk APC first. You ran the full season again and, in fact, became the first driver to win back-to-back championships. What was the thinking in running both of those series full time?
Yeah, I've kind of created a love for the APC United Late Model Series because it's kind of where I started. It's what I've been doing and have a lot of fun doing it. I really enjoy the people on both sides, the guys on the track and the officials. So, it has a special place in my heart. And obviously, with APC being my primary sponsor, it has a special place in their heart as well. So, it's not something I wanted to run away from. It's something I wanted to, make sure, like, confirm my championship on last year, and that it wasn't just a fluke or anything like that. And I felt that we could come out and dominate, really, and I feel we did that for the most part. We got 4 wins and 2 second place finishes in 9 races, so we had a really good season there. And I just really enjoy the tracks around home too. It's what I grew up doing, so I was happy to be able to go to the USA, but also continue doing what I've done up here.
Just because you weren't busy enough, you sprinkled in a few NASCAR Canada races, as you mentioned as well. So you ran at Ashwekin, you ran at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Delaware. That's a rather diverse schedule for NASCAR Canada. Was that just the races that you fit into the schedule, or was there a purpose behind that?
Yeah, it just Ashwekin was always planned. I had a lot of fun there last year when I filled in for Kenny Schrader there, and that was the one I wanted to do for sure. It was a midweek race and just worked out well. So we were going to do that one all along, and then we ran good there. It's always fun running with Kenny. He's such a character, and he's still got it. He's an older guy, but he's still got it. He can get out there and wheel a race car for sure. So that was a cool one that we had planned. And then CTMP in Delaware, we really didn't have planned at all. We worked closely with MBS Motorsports all year, and we came together and started talking about the possibility of having 3 cars there for the MBS guys. And man, that turned out great. We had a really good car, and Sierra Excavating and all them guys made it happen. But we were running second there with 5 to go, and caution came out and ended up third. But that was a blast. That was one of the most fun I've ever had in a race car. So I definitely want to do that again next year, hopefully. And then Delaware, I wasn't going to be able to do Delaware at all. I had a race on my schedule, and then the race got postponed. I forget what happened exactly. I think it got postponed a week. And so then as soon as we heard that, I was like, we got to run Delaware. So I went to my dad, and we were like, what can we do to make this happen? And then we went to Luke from APC, and obviously he's all in. He's such a great guy for motorsports. And between him and Dominic from Sierra Excavating with MBS Motorsports, they came together, and we made that race happen. So that's just a cool one as well, because it's so close to home, and I ran there for so many years.
So you had a lot of weekends busy this year. You've got one more event coming up with the Snowball Derby as well. Are you set, prepared for that? Just about ready to go?
Yeah, we're still working steady on that. I mean, it's the biggest race of the year to most people, and there's going to be a lot of cars there. So I'm going down to North Carolina, see the Rhett Jones guys, and work on the car down there tomorrow, actually. And I'm going to be down there for a week and a half. So a lot of Derby preparation. We're going to have 2 cars out of our team with Noah Gregson. So it's going to be cool to work side by side with him. He's obviously got a lot of experience. He's won the Derby in 2018. So that's going to be nice for me. I'm going to lean on him a lot, and just, yeah, we're going to go hard at it for the next couple of weeks, try and prepare as much as we can, and then go see what we have for the best of the best at the Snowball Derby.
Is there a difference in the style of racing from Canada to the US? Did you notice any of that going back and forth?
Really, at the end of the day, it's just racing. Everything's the same, you know, we're all just out there racing. But I mean, I think it's a little bit different. Especially, I think the NASCAR Canada Series has a bit different way of racing than even the APC Series. It's a lot more aggressive, and it's out there, and you know, give it all you got and see what you can do. And you know, if you bang doors a little bit, it's okay. And you know, it's still racing. That's just, you got to know that going into it. So I mean, it's just the way it is. I think the super late models down south, I think people, you know, a lot of them still work on their cars and maybe realize how much goes into it. And you know, they just respect the equipment a little bit more. And you know, it creates for really hard racing, but really clean racing. And you know, you really have no slouches at all down there. It's the best. So that's really the only difference. I mean, up here still really good racing. You got all the good guys. And I would say just it's just a little bit different. Each series runs a bit different. And you know, I do really enjoy the NASCAR Canada Series and how hard they race, and you know, how hard they push everyone, because you know, they're all out for it, and they all want to win. So that's fun on the track. Not necessarily so fun when you get back in the shop and you got to replace the nose every single weekend and this and that. But I mean, on track, that's a lot of fun.
You mentioned your dad, Scott. He had an awful lot of success in the NASCAR Canada Series. He fields cars for others. You mentioned the MBS Association. How much do you ask him for advice, and how much does he offer unsolicited?
Yeah, I mean, he's taught me everything really. So he's been there for me. I've worked side by side with him here in the shop since I was, you know, as long as I can remember really. I've been here working in the shop with him. And we had a couple years there where during COVID kind of, it was really just me and him in the shop putting in long hours every single day. So I'm really close with him. And you know, he's taught me all the stuff that you need to know in the shop, but also everything on the track from a young age. He was telling me, I remember in the junior late model, he'd be telling me how to set up passes, and you got to earn the respect, and you know, going over to talk to your competitors. So all that, he's really taught me everything. And you know, we butt heads every once in a while, but that's just the way it is. So I mean, I'm super appreciative for him, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am without him.
Do you ever get any days off, and what's an off day like for Kyle Steckly?
Yeah, I do. I do. I won't say I won't. I definitely don't have many, but on my days off in the summer, my grandparents had a cottage up on just outside of Sauble Beach on a nice little lake there. So I love going out on the boat, getting in a water ski, and you know, just being on the lake, relaxing. That's something I enjoy, or just you know, hanging out with friends. But at the end of the day, I'm in the race shop every single day, and working on cars or at a racetrack or doing something with racing. Even on my off days, I'm thinking about it. I'm watching a race on my phone. I'm doing this and that. So it's all I can really think about. But yeah, I like being on the water if I have a day off.
It's a good place to be. Now, I know your schedule's not quite finished for 2024, but racing never stops. Where are you in terms of planning and solidifying your 2025 plans?
It's coming along good. I mean, you never know until everything's finalized for sure. But we have quite a few plans and ideas and things that, you know, I think we can make happen. I really enjoyed being in the USA this year. I think I made a bit of a name for myself down there, and hope to continue that with even more races next year. That's kind of what we're planning to work with through Rhett Jones Racing and APC Auto Parts Center. So that's the goal there. And then I don't think I'll be back with the APC United Late Model Series full time, but I'll definitely, you know, make it out to anytime I've got an off weekend. We still got our car here, and that's going to be ready to go for that. And then NASCAR Canada, I had a ton of fun at CTMP this year. I'm really hoping I can do more with the MBS guys. And, you know, it's just all going to depend on my schedule. I think the main focus for me is going to be the USA, and see what we can do there, and really put a large focus on that. But I'll be in Canada as much as I can on my off weekends.
How much do they point out your Canadian accent when you're in the US?
Quite a bit. I guess I say quite a bit, and you know, you don't realize it. I go into stores and people say, "Where are you from? You've got an accent," and it's just it feels weird, but they do point it out quite a bit. They make fun of me. I don't know, the way I say because and just little things. So it's fun. It's all fun and games, but they definitely notice it and pick on me here and there.
I mean, it feels incredible to be able to see the results of your efforts come together.
Connor Attrell has competed the last few years in the Sports Car Championship Canada in the TCR class. He took a big leap into TC America and had a great weekend in the doubleheader at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Connor, tell me about that incredible weekend that you had at Indy.
Yeah, it was just an awesome opportunity. I was actually able to go down earlier in the year and had the opportunity to run in Road America, but unfortunately ran into some car issues. Felt the pace was really good. I really enjoyed the team that I was able to go down and work with, and it was the first time I've ever driven a car that wasn't a race car that we work on. So it was a great opportunity just to kind of broaden my horizons, and got hooked up with Jeff Ricca and Ricca Autosport, Gen Racer crew that's very experienced in SRO. Had the opportunity in Wisconsin, didn't really go the way I wanted, so was able to work with them, work with Hyundai USA, and put together a second shot down in Indianapolis, and it really all kind of came together. So it was, can't speak highly enough about the program. With the Ricca Autosport, Jeff is awesome. He's one of the drivers as well as team owner. So it was just the ability to go down there and get a wealth of experience in a very similar but also different car. It was an incredible experience.
Was it the Hyundai relationship that brought about you connecting with Jeff, and how did that start?
Yeah, so I actually had reached out to Jeff asking him about the TC cars, just curiosity's sake, looking at sort of, again, broadening the experience base that we have. And as you know, with the TCR cars, they tend to be a little costly to maintain, and starting to look at other things just to have the opportunity to race in the States. And was asking him some questions, and then he just basically said, look, we have a car ready for Wisconsin that doesn't have a driver right now. And we were able to put that together, worked out. Quinn said we had some issues with our cars and getting parts, so there wasn't going to be a weekend happening, and found an alternative. So it worked out, and it was an incredible experience to be able to go down there and experience sort of SRO and how they do things down there in the States. Obviously, my experience in Canada with SCCC racing at a professional level with FEL Motorsports has been incredible, but the difference when you go down to the States is interesting, because you suddenly have a lot more people and a lot a broader range of cars, series. The tracks are bigger, stuff like that. So it's just really cool to be able to experience and get more driving experience at these tracks down in the States.
That's got to be a bit of an adjustment, having more people, and as you said, dealing with a team that you're not familiar with hands-on. You have to build relationships pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to be a bit of a social butterfly, so I tend to work my way in where I need to be, and don't have any issues with that. I think the biggest thing was being able to just focus on driving and not focus on all the other things that usually come with my race weekends, in having my family there and helping to deal with the logistics and making sure the car is ready and that all our stuff's ready for the weekend. That's been a major point. So it was refreshing to be able to kind of go there and just focus on racing. Like, I even found myself at some points in the weekend looking for things to kind of do, like, can I help with this and that? Because it's just what I'm used to. But I think it did make a difference in the fact that my only job for the weekend when we were down in Indy was to drive the car to the best of my ability, and that being the sole focus, I think, helped make a little bit of a difference. So it's just an incredible experience to be able to do something a little bit different while it's still being very similar. And then go down and be able to represent Canada and have a good showing. And, I feel like the level of competition that we breed up here in our Canadian series is quite high. And you see that when a lot of the FEL alumni, or even the Formula 1600 alumni from Canada, tend to go out and branch out and do other things. They find a lot of success. So it was nice to be able to do that, and find some success for Hyundai and represent the sponsors.
So the first weekend at Road America didn't go so well. Indy was the absolute opposite, though, on the podium both days, and to get a victory in race number 2. Tell me about the emotion as you're coming to the checkered flag.
Well, so the big thing throughout the weekend is I was trying to catch Jeff, because Jeff is really fast, and I qualified right behind him, a couple tenths off of him. So I was feeling very good about that. Race one, I was trying to make sure I was pacing correctly to be able to try to catch him. And sort of in the second race, we ended up in the similar situation we were in race one, where we were gapped out from the field and he was gapped out from me. So it was kind of a war of attrition. And then probably with a lap or two to go, I saw Jeff pull into the pits, and I get on radio and I'm like, what's going on? Because up until that point, I'm like, okay, just drive it home. We're in second place. Try to catch Jeff, but let's not do anything silly. And then as soon as he pulls in, I was like, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. And, but that's racing. Sometimes it goes your way. It's nice to see it go my way, because our team up here, we've had some bad luck over the last few years. So to finally have it go the other way was nice. And I said it in the interview after the car. I mean, it feels incredible to be able to see the results of your efforts come together. And sometimes that's racing. That's what makes it so beautiful, and why I think we love it so much, is that the best laid plans can quickly go belly up, because there's so many variables that you can't control. And not only do you need to be prepared, not only does everybody need to be on point, but you need to get lucky. And sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And I was able to leave with what I accomplished, because that was my big thing coming from Road America, is I had the pace, and I was, I felt a little disappointed that we had some car issues and stuff like that. But again, that's racing. So I think the perseverance and being able to go back out there and know that you can do it, and then actually have that come to fruition is a huge feeling, and definitely a little bit of a feather in my cap to cap off the season.
You mentioned your brother Quinn. Your dad Bob is a longtime sports car racer. It's pretty much a family affair. I guess it was almost inevitable that this was the path you would follow too.
Yeah, I mean, we make the joke all the time that my dad made the mistake of letting us drive race cars, and now it's all I want to do. So very much my life is cars. When we're not racing Hyundais, we're selling them. So it's something that's just become an integral part of my life, and my family and the relationships that I have close to me tend to come from racing. So in the automotive industry in general. So it's very much a thing that's been ingrained into me. And now that we've had the opportunity to race at this level, it's hard to be satisfied with competition elsewhere, because it feels like it's not quite the same thing. You definitely got the bug.
So does that mean we'll be seeing more of you in other series in 2025 and beyond? Will you come back to SCCC, or have you decided yet?
So I think there's still going to be an element of SCCC. I don't think in the degree that we've done it in previous years, just because we're starting to look at other things, life happening, and it's sort of the idea that I think trying to get as much experience in a broad variety of things is kind of what I'm looking at, and looking, see where I find success and then pursue that further. I think there will be an element of SCCC, but I'm not sure if it's going to be, my brother, my dad, or some combo of the three of us. It depends where the cards fall for next year, because obviously, Sports Car Championship Canada, we've been proponents of that series for a long time, and it's something we if we can support the series in Canada, we always will. But then there's other opportunities like the TC America. So I've been looking into potentially trying to get some more rides down in the States for next year, because they're actually revamping the class a little bit for SRO and for TC America specifically, where they're talking about having 20 plus cars, and now there's a Toyota, there's going to be 5 Hyundais, there's going to be BMWs, there's the Hondas still, and they're combining the class into one. So for me, it sort of harkens back to the sort of more touring car, less factory built and more of a modified road car. So I'm interested in looking at that, and then definitely doing some SCCC. I mean, if there's any opportunities to drive anything, I'm open to it, and any experiences I can have behind the wheel and try to find some success, I'm there.
And that will do it for this edition of Rev Culture. Don't forget, you can catch up on past episodes by going to the REVtv YouTube channel, and please make sure you follow us on our social channels. Thanks for watching. See you next time.